The third swimming and water safety session, in which we'll be discussing babies and toddlers and sharing water safety education at home. Just a reminder, if you can please mute your microphones and turn off any video as we wait for a few more people to come through. Water safety education is important at home as well as in swimming lessons, and the current environment is important to help parents maintain critical water safety messaging and education at home in the absence of in-water lessons. All right, a little bit of housekeeping. Before we get started, I just wanted to cover off some housekeeping. All incoming audio has been muted, but we do ask that you remain muted. There's a few who still have their mic on. You just press the little microphone icon, it will turn sound off. If you have any questions, you can open up the chat bar on your screen and you can type them in as we go. We will be recording this session and making it available on the webpage. So if you don't wish your participation to be known, then we suggest that you hang up from the meeting now. The application does work best in Google Chrome, and feel free to comment in the chat section where you're from, what swim school, location or school as we go. Recap from last week. Liz discussed keeping swim school families engaged. Lots of ideas and information was shared to get imaginations flowing. If you missed last week's session, head to the recording on our webpage, and all our sessions are recorded and you can listen to them at any time if you go to our webpage. Today we have presenters of Marie McCaig from Splash and Learn and myself. We also have online the water safety team from LSV, and that's Michelle, Caitlin and Liz, who will answer any questions as you send them through on the chat bar. I would like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. So today, the purpose is to help swim schools engage with their families and students in continuing their swimming and water safety education at home, to help provide resources and ideas for swim schools to communicate and share with their families, and swim school retention, which follows on from last week. As we go along today, think about your customers, your families, students, the resources you may have, and write down any ideas as we go. So a few ideas, just a suggestion, and as I said, think as you go. Create video content for social media and directly to your families. Include links in weekly newsletters, swim school communication. Engage swim teachers to create content if they're under JobKeeper or still employed. And swim schools to share lesson content, songs and activities, a little bit of structure to help parents at home. So consider your environment is not in the structured pool at the moment. The parents will be at home. They may have a pool, they may not have a pool, they might have a bath, they may not have a bath. So when you're developing resources and ideas and sharing information with them, you've got to really broaden your imaginations and consider your clients and know who they are. So part of that, it's really important to communicate water safety messaging to the families at home. Reminder, everyone will have different environments. And overall water safety parents is important to ensure appropriate supervision at all times to avoid accidents and drowning prevention. I'm going to hand it over to Marie, who will start with babies today.
Hi, everyone. We need the next slide, I think, Jen. Yep, thank you. Okay, so some of the key points to do with babies and toddlers. Balance. So we want to, learning how to balance in the water. So that's important for stability and drowning prevention. Babies rely on the 5 senses. So thinking of activities that can incorporate all those 5 senses in the water. And use the same swim cues as the swim school, so we get consistent language. This helps with instructions, and it's important for parents to continue the same language to make the progression back into swim lessons easier. breath control. So we just begin with, starting with breath control with the babies and then through to independence for toddlers. Use of bath or shower. So mix it up a bit so they can provide, some different stability, like standing in the shower is different to standing in the bath. And yeah, it provides different water experiences as well. So with parents need to be comfortable in the water and with all the activities so that the child is relaxed in the pool or the bath. Don't force or continue with the activity if the child's showing signs of discomfort. So very important to get these messages out there to the parents. And enjoyment, so that it's enjoyment on both sides. You want them both to be, parents and children to be enjoying it. And remind the parents too that it's all different in everyone's household. So, sometimes they don't have time to actually do all the activities. If they don't have time, no big deal. Just do one activity every bath night or whatever. Yeah. So no pressure. Okay, so some of the activities that we do with the young babies. So with the balance, what we can get them to do is if the parent gets in the water with the child, and the child's sitting on your knee, then they actually hold onto your fingers. So you're actually getting the child to hold onto the parents, and they're bouncing them up and down. So that teaches them to be really balanced, and the better that they're doing this, the more, you can move them around and bounce around. Floating, so you can get the baby in the bath with the parent in a deeper bath. With the parent supporting the head and the back, and staying close to the baby. So like where you can get out to them. These are some of the songs that we might use when we're teaching them floating, so that they get to know, oh, okay, yes, that song goes with that floating activity, and progression then to floating on their tummy as well. So patty cake's a good one for the rotating. Sensory, again, so any squishy toys, bright colours, and reminding them just to have water in the bath when they're doing a lot of this sort of stuff, particularly with the breath controls and stuff. You don't want them to get, soap in their eyes and stuff. So just water, but nice bright colours, and it's mainly just teaching them to play in the water. They learn a lot from play and sensory. The stick-on toys, the suction toys, yeah. So, and then we've got cues. So using the same language as the swim school, e.g., if your swim school uses Hudson, ready, go, 1, 2, 3, go, get that out there so that it's consistency. And it will make the transition back into your swim school much easier if parents have been practicing, they've been keeping these cue words up to date. And then we've got breath control. So this is where we would use the cues and pour, you can be pouring water over the head. So you're getting them to, start to hold their breath with the cup conditioning, or some gentle splashing, or using a face washer to pour a bit over their head. So starting to get that breath control happening, and always smiling. Remind the parents to always smile. And then, so that brings me to parents being relaxed. Give parents tips on how to be relaxed, and explain why it's important to be relaxed. So for instance, if they've got one of the parents who is much more relaxed in the water in general, get them to be the one who first gets in the water with the baby and does stuff. And remember also that, it might have been dad that's been bringing the child to lessons all the time. Now mum's actually doing these activities at home in the bath, that maybe dad needs to show mum what he's been doing in the lessons and stuff, so it's a bit consistent as well. And that will relax both parents. So don't force, give parents tips and explain why you don't want, you just don't want them to force them at all. Like if the child's out of sorts that day, and teach them how to identify the characteristics, like e.g. crying and coughing, or if they feel that the baby's got tense and really doesn't like it, discontinue that activity for that day, and ensure them that that's okay to discontinue it. and start again the next day. But also encourage them, don't give up, and they're not doing anything wrong. Enjoyment and fun. So always words of encouragement, smiling, learning to, in different ways that the parents can learn the characteristics and personality of their baby, and singing some songs to them. This is always fun. And this could be one of the activities that you actually get some of your instructors, if you've got them on, to do a song that might be sung through at your swim school. So they can be singing, if you're happy and you know it, you can video the instructor doing the song, and then you send it out there and say, oh, this is what we do. Or, at your last song, your song to finish up for the lesson. So, all right, I think we've got our next slide, please, Jen. Okay, so I think that this will work. So this is a real good, see how cup conditioning, she closes her eyes. So, and then Dad's got praises as well. So Dad's really learned how to praise. So that's what we're wanting to end up with, the cup conditioning. So it's Scarlett, ready, go. Radio. And then we have some ideas of different equipment. Now, I'm sure most of your parents at home will have lots of bath toys that they're using. But, and then they could bring some cups into the bath to just add up a few things, or any other household items. And this is good to explore around the house. So you can give parents different ideas that they could use: milk cartons, yogurt containers, Tupperware. And you can see we've got a few examples there. Put holes in the bottom of the containers, or you can just leave them just pouring from one thing to another, or pouring over the baby's belly as they're lying back on their back. So there's many different ways you can use those household items, or put pictures and images. Yeah. Now we've got Dryland Activities. So this is where you obviously don't need any water, but it's good things for them to do at home. So baby holds onto parents' fingers, and they bounce gently on the knee. So it's the same activity that was happening in the bath, but it's just teaching the parent how to do it out of the bath as well. And another one is to get the baby to sit on parent's knee, and their back runs against their parent's tummy, and then you kick, 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 kick. So encouraging the word kick. So the baby's getting to know the word kick. Or, whatever other cues that you use at your swim school. Baby sits on the knee, same position. And you're doing splashing arms or paddling arms. So you're actually helping they're helping the baby to move their arms. And, songs can be great with this as well. So that's where those swim instructors can get out there and do some songs. And holding T-shirts or other objects for balance. So getting that hold in place, or using sand and water table for exploration with toys and water. So they've got anything like that. Okay, so I will now hand you back to Jen, where she's going to go through some ideas and activities with toddlers.
Thank you, Marie. Excellent. So relating back to the key points mentioned for babies, a lot of it is just progression into toddlers. So for toddlers, it might be bending down to pick up a toy or an object to recover. This can be in the shower, the bath, the pool, the shower pool, whatever they've got. Floating, be shallow water, again, pretend it's a bath. Ears under for back float. You can use songs, counting, visual aids. They probably don't have the beautiful round mirror that we use in lessons, so they could use a makeup mirror. Sensory, again, ears in water, eyes in water, splashes, mouth in water. Some examples can be listening to the fish or Nemo, whatever they're relating to at the moment. Splash fast, splash big. You can sing your own favourite song, again relating back to the swim school. If you've got instructors or yourselves singing songs or sending out videos, it'd be really handy. Cues, exactly the same as Marie said, again, being consistent with the swim school is helpful. Breath control, again, using cues and knowing what the child's ability is important. An activity idea could be pouring water from a cup or watering can over their own head and then their parent's head. You can play a game in encouraging dipping face into the water, again catching fish or something that's under the water. Use games, and ideally they're working towards instigating things themselves, so into that next progression. As Marie said, the relaxed parents. Ideas for swim schools is really a bit more information sheets, tips, tricks for parents. If you think about your customers, some of them will be, loving all of this and doing all this at home, but there might be those ones that just come for those 30 minutes a week and not much else. So you've got to consider that really broad range when you're communicating, and spread out the messaging to suit your communication plan if you've got one going. You might not bombard them with 5 pieces of paper full of all these tips and tricks, so you might release them slowly. Again, don't force the kids. Again, help the parents understand that and what they're looking for. They may not know what to look for, and keep it clear and simple when you're explaining it to them. Enjoyment and fun is really important for this age group as they feed well off encouragement. When they're going through different development stages, such as, but not limited to, independence, self-realisation, language development, fine and gross motor skills, encouragement engagement is really, really important. This age group have short attention spans, so the right activity that interests them is critical to success. Just think about Dory and you'll be pretty good. And again, remind parents that they need to do what's best for their household and be flexible with it. Got some video examples of what I sort of went through and some photos. This is the bending down, picking up spoons because Sinky toys were not available. Just adapt. There's a Dory moment in case you don't know what they look like. This one's some paddle arms just in the bath. Doesn't have to be totally structured. It's all fun. I mean, he's covered in bubbles, so that's probably the better part. Kickboard in the bath. If you don't have a kickboard, you could use a chopping board, anything. We did this on the weekend and there was no kicking whatsoever that occurred, but the fun of a kickboard in the bath was just as exciting. And he actually used it for a bit of balance and that sort of thing as well. So Dryland Activities with toddlers. Really important to explain to the kids, or to the parents really, why they're doing the activity, what the purpose is and where they would be using it. Ask questions for them to answer. They're starting to communicate or can communicate at this point. This enables them to relate to their environments, associate with objects, places they know and apply the knowledge so the kids can take it a bit further. You can do dry rescues at home. You can make beach flags. You can make safety signs. Identify and draw dangerous animals. Kids love that one. Dry land swimming, so you can be kicking on the carpet. Arm strokes on the bed, doesn't matter. And use the online resources and adapt to the age, cognitive and physical abilities of the toddlers. One thing I found, I have a 2-year-old that is Dory, and one thing is there's not a whole range of things out there for that toddler younger age group. So I've been looking beyond that. So, 6, 7, 8-year-old activities and then pulling things out of it and adapting it to see what would work. And it's all experimental. So tell your parents that experiment and learn as you go. And with this age group, you're sort of trying to fill a very long day sometimes. And parents are looking for sometimes a 5-minute activity or a 30-minute activity. So give them some ideas through that space as well. Some equipment, little few different ones, I suppose, but there's still the bath toys, but there might be a bit more exciting. Again, cups, some action toys. Same with the household items. We discovered one on the weekend where it's apple's in a container, but the container actually has 4 large holes in it. So that went in the bath. Pictures and images. There's little foam cutout images that you can use and they stick on the bath and float and that sort of thing as well. Clamshell, kickboard or chopping board, which I mentioned, swim cap goggles and bathers. Parents can get their kids in their bathers and make it, act out the swimming lesson, and art and craft materials and see what they've got at home. Some people might have more of those than the others. We've put together a couple of slides, so take a screenshot if you can, and the links will be posted in the chat as well for you. Some support organisations and community outreach that helps with babies and toddlers. So maternal child health departments are really good. The Raising Children Network website is fantastic. Play It Safe by the Water program. Royal Children's Hospital have a lot of fact sheets far and wide. Kids Safe is another one. I'll take you through Raising Children Network. And you'll see up here, it's quite in depth, but it goes all the way up. But they actually have water safety for children and parents on here. It's more, sort of general and safety tips and that sort of thing. And new parents are generally pushed towards this website, but they probably don't have the time to go through all of it. So that's a really good one. More swimming and water safety support. Next Level Swim Schools. This was a really interesting one. They're not a swim school. They don't want to be a swim school, but they've developed free videos on their Facebook page for swim schools to use. They've got a free option of watching and sharing the videos, or they've actually got a paid option where you can basically take their video content and brand it and repost it and share it with your customers. It's a once-off fee, and if that's something you're looking at, if you don't have that resource to make the videos, I'll take you through and I'll show you what it will look like. So as you can see down here, so they've got it babies through to toddlers. So it's just at-home videos, but talking you through it. It's really sort of on a swim school level, but really adaptable for parents, which I think is really good. It's really simple stuff, and you can just watch them straight onto their Facebook page. A few other ones are Kids Alive. Royal Lifesaving Society has heaps across the board. I'll take you through this one. This one's a good one. So the Royal Life have child safe play areas. So think about your customers at home. This could be a very new space for them. So they've got a checklist of what's safe to be doing water activities at home. And for a parent, this could be a really good starting point. And this might be something that you post up or you share and say, look, is your home safe around water, and things, buckets and things like that they may not be thinking of. And again, a reminder that some parents will be working in this space for the first time and others will be doing it in most days of the week. So think about your clients, think about the messaging, thinking about the materials that you put out and the activities that you are sharing. And be open to feedback and questions, because they'll probably have questions when they go and attempt these things at home. And I'll open up for any questions and hopefully I can give you some answers.
Hey Jen, it's Michelle here.
Hi.
I just want to make a note that we do have the chat running, and Caitlin and I have posted all those links in the chat for anyone who wants to visit those sites. We are also asking what PD sessions everyone is looking for. Mandy's put in a great suggestion there for a session about going through the Water Smart Award. So great suggestion. Thank you, Mandy.
Yeah.
But if anyone else has any suggestions of PD that they would like or their staff would like, it'd be great to see that popping up in the chat.
Hi, Marie and Jen. We've just had a question from Adrian who's asked, do the resources include information for parents managing multiple children? For example, his brother has triplets. Do you have any strategies for that?
Enjoy the triplets, but having triplets, I would imagine they've got some sort of routine or system going, even if it's a small one. But that might come down to, might be the same activity in the bath. It might be one with a cup pouring it to the next one, depending on their age, obviously, to the next one. It could be just one activity. It could be 3 activities. It depends, again, on their personalities, abilities, development stages, but definitely manageable. And just depending, I'm talking from a bath perspective, if they do one at a time, I'd probably imagine mum, dad and triplets all in the bath together might be a bit much. So they might start with more the basic stuff rather than getting in and having a 5-person bath type scenario.
Can I just add something in there as well, Jen?
Of course.
Yep. Because I be sort of more thinking, with the triplets, like they can be pouring the water over each other's heads and just having play, and they'll get lots of balance that way. But then for other parents that maybe have got 3 siblings that are all different ages, and you would do this with the triplets as well, like if they've got 3 kids all in the bath at one time, just to watch that, maybe the older one or the more confident one is not tipping too much water over the child's head and then turning it into a fear thing with the bath. So, like it's great for them to have a good play with each other and then they're, balancing and all that sort of stuff. But just watching that, older siblings can be very good because they're very encouraging, but then they can also tip it the other way and make the younger child scared in the bath or the more timid child scared in the bath. So, yeah, just watching that sort of stuff, I would say.
And sometimes they all want the same toy or the same object. So that's where household items might be a bit easier. You just get 3 yogurt containers, but you may not be able to get, 3 exact zebra toys. So household items probably might be more of a winner. It could be a spoon, it could be a ladle, it could be anything that's lying in your Tupperware or your drawers.
Thanks to you both for those really, really great suggestions there. We've also had another question from Eric, who's asked, with the current situation that we're all in, is there any suggestions with baby classes with social distancing restrictions upon opening, such as limiting classes or anything like that?
Jen, it's Liz here. Would you like me to jump in on some theories around this?
Yeah.
So we will be having a webinar session in the next couple of weeks around reopening your centres and what that looks like. So what we do know for sure is there's not going to be a date, so say July 1, that our doors are open and everything's back to normal. It's going to happen in progressive stages. So we've done some modelling around that. We're doing some suggested ideas on how you reopen in stages. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you. But Eric, you will have to hold tight just a little bit longer and tap into that webinar in a couple of weeks' time, where we will be talking about reopening in stages and with social distancing and maximum numbers and things like that.
Are there any other questions that people might have or suggestions? We do have, if you want to contact us further, you can email us at aquatic.education@lsv.com.au and we'll pop that in the chat for you as well. We're still online and over the phone. Upcoming webinars next week is swimming and water safety in the Victorian curriculum. And on the 6th of May, we've got teaching of life-saving skills in inland areas. Tomorrow we'll be hearing from Mark Collins, who's talking about leading through uncertainty and change, and you can tune into that at 11 o'clock. And then we're pretty much done if everyone doesn't have any further questions. Thank you very much for coming and spending some time with us today. Hope you enjoy your afternoon. Don't work too hard. Have a nice cup of tea and enjoy your week. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to hang up from the conversation. Press your red button as soon as you can. Thank you.